Hello, it's Phil Lamb and it's
Russell Smith
from Tour of the Town.
Yeah.
And it's Norfolk's Oldest Buildings, Volume 4. And a bit of a two-in-one for you here today.
Yes.
So we have a church from the late Saxon period, early Norman, and we have something, well, much older than that, don't
Yes,
we,
we
Russell?
have. We got the Roman town, allegedly.
Yes. Roman town of Venta.
Yes.
And we can have a look round. There's none of the buildings are really preserved, but we do have the ramparts, the wall, with a few gates and towers still surviving. The church is still there, of course. And proper pronunciation, Russell, is
Iceni.
Iceni, not Iceni or Iceni or anything like that. It's Iceni.
Yeah, or Iceni, yeah, not quite sure.
Iceni, yep, something like that. Iceni. So we have lots of information boards around the site, don't we, Russell?
Iceni, yes, I pronounced.
Iceni, there you go. Iceni. Iceni.
Ikea, doesn't it?
Yes, so we might find some furniture to buy when we're walking around, won't we? Yep. We have lots of information here. You have a nice car park. It's a paying display. £2 for 90 minutes. And it's a great place, isn't it, Russell, for taking your dog out for a walk.
Yeah, lots of people with dog walkers.
It's not so much today, it's about 3 or 4 degrees. It's the middle of February. Not quite spring yet.
No.
And yes, it's sometimes in the a nice day it can be quite busy here.
Yeah.
Let's go for it then, Russell.
Let's go.
Through the gate.
Yep.
So we're going to enter from the south, walk along the south wall, and then round sort of clockwise. Yeah. Now the site, Roman site, it's first built around about AD 100, Russell. Mainly of timber buildings at first, later of masonry towards the middle of the 2nd century. It lasted through to about the late 4th, and then you had the period where the barbarians, Germanic tribes, are coming across the North Sea,
Saxons,
disruptors. Around about 360 to 410. 410 is usually the date given for the end of the Roman occupation of Britain. Yeah, you got a lot of these steps. I mean, for most people it'd be okay, but if you mobility issues, and you can see there's a path all the way around. Okay, so we walk along the south wall. We have a well-marked path. I mean, it looks earthen. I mean, you can't see much of the masonry, but as we progress around, you will see more and more of the remnants of the masonry wall. Yeah, there's part of the masonry wall there, sloping away to the south. Flint, but there's also apparently underneath it tile and brick as well.
Yeah, covered up, I suppose.
Yep.
You could say.
So within the walls, this is where all the main buildings would have been of Roman Venta. You'd have had in the middle, you've had the forum and the basilica. You'd have had baths as well, and that's during the summer when it's very dry. There's been a drought. You can still see the lines of the old crisscrossing road system. There were several roads which crisscrossed from north to south and east to west, but now, as you can see, there's mainly sort of quite undulating turf, basically. Sad old tree, look, in the middle there.
Yeah, it's there, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. So here we have panel 2. Was that panel 11?
Yeah, 11. Yeah, probably 2. Yeah, it was in the
Roman numerals probably. Yeah.
So that's panel 2, isn't it? Yeah.
So about 2,000 people may have lived during the 4th century. That have been just before the Saxons arrived, of course. Okay, so we found panel 1, the birth of the Roman town. Followed the revolt of Boudicca in AD 60-61. The Roman town was established soon afterwards, although human occupation goes back to, apparently according to this, 10,000 BC. Yeah, so the early Roman town, the 2nd century, and it's much larger during the 3rd and early 4th century. the early 5th century, the occupation in the area inside the wall town came to an end. But as we know, shortly after there was an Anglo-Saxon settlements quite close to where the car park is these days.
That's right. Number 3.
So, panel 3. So this would have been cut just over there. The other side would have been where the old town amphitheatre was, outside the actual walls.
Yeah.
South walls of the town, you see its size there. Got a few graves in there as well. So we've got a crisscross of paths here. There's a bridge over there which crosses the River Taz. And of course, back in the Roman times, Russell, the actual area was over there. It was just a port, wasn't it? It was the actual estuary of the river coming right up to Caistor from the coast. Difficult to imagine today. You've got the A140 over there. Boudica Way, of course, comes through here as well. Path which connects Norwich to Dis, 37 miles. You've actually done a nice afternoon walk. Roman Town Trail. I haven't seen that one before. So, info panel 4. Life outside the walls. So you had the town within the walls, but you had stuff going on outside as well. Roman coins found. Raised line of the road can still be seen running across the field in front of you. This area here would have been where the west gate was. Gates entering into the town for them, west, east, north and south. The west gate was probably the most important entrance into the town. The River Tass could be crossed at this point. Nice picture there of the reconstructed bathhouse.
Yep.
Just inside the city walls, just over there. So this is the site of the west gate. River Taz down there. And there's the Taz itself. Okay, Russell, so we have
look at that.
large masonry remains there. You can see that we have some Roman
brick. Definitely, yeah.
This would probably been part of the west gate, and it stands to probably about 10 foot high, does it? Something like that. There you go. So Roman brick was usually quite long and thin, wasn't it? And we see how a lot of it was later used in medieval parish churches. Flint as well. A lot of rubble. So we're about halfway around to this turn now, the ramparts. Come on to the north wall, and we'll see here there's a lot more masonry survival. See all the flint there. Might be a good idea actually to walk down off to the left. Get down there in a moment. Quite a lot of the wall survives really. There'd have been obviously along there. This would have been where the walkway for the guards walked along like this. I wouldn't touch that, Russell. Yeah. We'll try and get down there. And from this point you can either turn right across the town centre towards the church, or you can go down this way to the other side of the ramparts, where you can see some of the best preserved parts of the Roman wall. Okay, so here we have best preserved remains on the north wall. Quite fantastic considering they're built nearly 2,000 years ago.
Pretty good, aren't they?
Back there you'd have had the north gate. Probably the best surviving part I think that I've seen. We have info board panel number 7 about the defence of the town. walls were built in the late 3rd century. That's quite late on in the Roman period, Russell.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Walls were topped by a parapet and walkway. And they were built to the threat of the attack from the North Seas. The Saxons and other German tribes were already starting to plunder the east coast, even in the 3rd century. Venta was part of a group of fortified Roman sites. There's a Borough Castle and Caistor on Sea. No doubt would be there later on in the year. Certainly quite high up there, isn't it? See, it's quite stratified as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's big lumps of flint.
Yeah, it's well built.
Yeah, mortar, huge amounts of mortar. Not so much brick in this part though. Got some tiles. So we are now at the northeast front of Roman town of Venta. We've got these quite steep steps going up here, and this will take you to the east wall. It's starting to rain now. It is horribly cold. Didn't pick the right day for it, did we, Russell?
Yeah.
Panel 8. What do they believe in? This is pre-Christianity, although of course the Roman Empire became Christian in the early 4th century. Up to then they were pagans, and they had 2 temples. I don't know which gods were worshipped. Recent discovery of numerous dog skeletons in a drain by the Forum may also have been connected with ritual activity. At least it's not human. It would account for why we've seen lots of dogs around here, yeah?
Yes.
Little ghosts. So here we have a glass panel which sort of superimposes the buildings onto what is now basically a bare field. How the town might have looked in the 4th century. There you go. Temple and the Forum. You can see
Yeah.
it looked a nice little
idea,
touch.
Suppose, yeah.
So we're panel 9. Rise and fall of the Roman town. Reached its peak in the 4th century before activity suddenly stopped in the 5th. Well, we know what that is. Because of the Roman withdrawal and the invasion of the Angles and Saxons. Forum was rebuilt in the 4th century. 4th and 5th century towns were shrinking and disappearing all over Europe, and Venta followed this pattern. And it appears as though occupation inside the walls stopped shortly after 400 AD. After this point we have the rise of the Anglo-Saxon settlement. Settlement spanning the 5th to 8th centuries. And then after that, of course, we have Norwich taken over as the main centre of population. Yep. See, the earliest churches in Norwich being built in the 10th century.
Yeah.
Presumably just after the last inhabitants were driven out of Venta, or what was then the Saxon town. Yes.
Between the 4th and the 8th, and they don't know not much about it, do they? It's the Dark Age they call it, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, definitely.
They don't know much about it. They're making discoveries all the time.
Going to follow this little path. The bottom here, come off the ramparts. So this would have been in part of the defensive ditch down here.
Yeah.
Interesting that this big log made into a bench. Do you want to sit down there, Russell?
No, I don't think so.
No? What's the problem with sitting down there?
Today, I think. Is it clearing up, doesn't it?
Your arse all dirty. Yeah, so we have a little bit of masonry here. Might have been toppled a bit just behind there. So here we have the church of Caistor St Edmund. And I know this video is about Norfolk's oldest buildings, but there are parts of this church which go back to the Norman, the very late Saxon, and it also reuses old Roman materials, as we're about to find out. Now we see it's got a west tower with bell openings that appear to be made out of brick. We have a nave where the roof has been lowered at one point. You can see where the old roof line used to be.
Yep, I see that.
We have, I'm not sure that is there, is it the south aisle? It's not really a porch, is it?
No.
Huge buttress and a chancel with a single light pointed lancets, which is 13th century design. Let's go and have a look, shall we, Russell?
Yeah, look. Yeah, enjoy it.
So it's a fine tower. We have a little opening perhaps in the stairwell, halfway up. Big boarded bell opening up there, so quite a large opening really. Just possibly Rowan, Russell, what do you think?
It's that sort of style, isn't it?
Yeah, you have a look at it. Right colour. It's long and it's narrow, but as I said, it could have been a later edition.
There's lots of concrete in there, isn't there? So
yeah.
this doesn't look very attractive compared to the old flint one finds.
So the west side of the tower, got a decorated window. Quite a large graveyard. Right, so here we've got the north porch, another church, the north porch rather than the south porch. We've got a blocked window in the porch on the west side with it's bricks up with bricks that definitely aren't Roman.
Oh no, they aren't. On
the south side you see the chancel. The priest-style is later. It looks more like almost Tudor period, to be honest.
Yeah, not later, isn't it?
The nave seems to have been cement rendered, or the eastern part of the nave.
Yeah.
Welcome, the church is open, I think. Huh?
Keep away repair, I suppose.
Would you like to do the deed?
It should be open, yeah. It should be open, but
You never know, you might get a round of applause. Cute little porch. Oh, let's have a look at this door, which is very typically 13th century door.
some sort of graffiti there. Quite old, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there is, isn't there? Looks like a cornetto. What's
Some things.
There's stuff happening here, and cool headstops.
Yeah, very good, aren't they?
Obviously genuine, looking at how weathered they are. It's a bishop, isn't it there? On the jamb of the door we've got some medieval inscriptions.
Oh yeah.
Quite a long way up actually. Okay, so while Russell is trying to find the lights, the church is thankfully open. It's quite small, there's no aisles. There's a very tall, quite narrow chancel arch. The benches appear to be fairly modern, Victorian at the oldest. We do have this wonderful 15th century font. It's a lovely little cute front cover. Angels with shields. It's octagonal. It's a typical East Anglian design.
Yeah. Faces.
Yeah. A bit chipped off there, yeah. And on the stem we have the lions. Yeah. So, but the tower arch, we have the royal coat of arms, 1714.
It's Queen Anne, the last year of her reign.
That's right, just before George I came to the throne. That's in quite good nick, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it's been overpainted or something, maybe.
It's not very often you see a coat of arms of Queen Anne. No. Lovely. 1714, how about that?
Yeah.
So on the south wall of the nave we have, well, what would have been a St Christopher mural.
Legs, yeah.
You can see a little bit at the bottom there of his legs. It would have been huge. Not sure if that's a face at the top. There you go. Fortunately, not much of it left now.
Yeah.
Coloured. So on the floor of the nave we have what would have been brass, quite a large indentation there.
Not sure if that looked like the Lord of the Manor or something.
At least related, I suppose. Yeah, so it's obviously taken up at some point and melted down or sold.
Yeah, probably in the Puritans probably.
Yeah. Moving into the chancel, quite a small east window. Usually east windows like really large. Priest door going out there. We've got the quite large lancet windows. They're splayed as well, yeah. So they're probably about early 13th century. Same on the south side of the chancel. Got a little organ there as well, Russell. I know Russell likes to try these pianos and organs out. We got
some 17th century stuff here.
Some 17th century monument slabs on the floor.
Edges, yeah.
Some of these people died quite young, 22 years old. 16th of June 1686. A little bit older, that one there. Thomas.
Ursula, daughter of Thomas Marshall, is it?
Yeah, Ursula. I'm going to try and pronounce that one. 1644.
Yeah, July 1644. Yeah.
Charles I.
Yeah.
1660.
1660. Yeah.
Yeah. Get quite dark now. It's near the end of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's raining as well.
Yeah. We've got a nice little booklet here for your dedication. The parish church at Caistor St Edmund. Quite detailed by the looks of it. So here we have, it's a bit unusual this, on the south side of the chancel we have the piscina. Just to the right of another large opening, not quite sure what it is though. Anybody knows? Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe while you're at it.
Yes.
Okay, so we've finished here at Caistor St Edmund's church. Lovely little church. The nave is actually, might go back to Saxon times. That's the last decades of Saxon England.
Yes.
And of course there might have been a Saxon settlement here shortly after the Romans, which gave rise later to the church. It's a nice one, yeah.
Very good.
Some sleety wet snow starting to fall here now. In a winter which has seen very little snow, to be honest. It's quite a novelty, isn't it, really?
Is this you?
Russell loves standing out in the cold. Just stay there a few more minutes.
Oh, thank you. Let's go and get there.
So, we finally walked around the whole of Venta Roman town here in Caistor St Edmund. Also the church.
Yeah,
and I think I've been here probably about half a dozen times in the last 10 years. It's always interesting, always very nice. On nice warm day, it's actually starting to snow here a little bit now. It's a nice 20-minute walk around the ramparts. There's not a whole lot to see. I mean, on the north part of the walls there's a lot of masonry standing to about 10 feet, but most of it is more like a sort of grassy kind of walk. And the church is quite nice and pleasant as well.
Yeah.
So definitely recommend coming here. Of course, there's a few other Roman sites in Norfolk as well,
indeed, yeah.
which we'll probably cover in a later video. Norfolk's oldest. You're probably not going to find anything any older than this, are we? Really?
Not really. No, I don't think so.
Perhaps a site, but nothing surviving, I don't think.
No.
So
Above ground.
yeah. See you next time.
Next time. Thank you.